Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I did finish the week with 16 wins, 3 losses for a win rate of 84.21%. Not too bad. I did pretty good. It just a couple of the trades I probably could have done better on, but 3 losses for the week is not too bad. Not quite 85%, but I'm right there, pretty close to it. So with that said, we'll get right involved. Monday, which was March 11th. Traded Day's room. Where is the 11th? Right here. We had a massive run up on Friday, and actually kind of like a little run up and a massive dump. So wasn't expecting too much. Lately, SPY has been having these big days, or when I say big days, I'm talking like a range, like a somewhat decent range, like $4 or $5 plus. When they have those kind of range days, the next day ends up being a really tiny range. For some reason, it's just been happening like that. There hasn't been any really continuation. So just the last few weeks, big range day, next day or two is a small range, then you get another big range day. It's just, I don't know, it's just the way it's been. And so I wasn't expecting too much on Monday the 11th, but trade ideas room was his SPY puts under 509, which is down here at the just rounded down. Looking at puts at open, so the first 10-minute candle is green. I'm not looking at calls. We could have looked at calls, but it just didn't really go anywhere. It didn't break high a day, but got a nice little fade down. First 10-minute candle is green, like I said. I was not looking at calls. I was looking at puts. So when I broke lower day, right here, I took puts at 15.95, puts at 8.30. And they went from 8.30 to 13.50 right there. So they ended up being a good play. Then I switched to calls at 11.51, which is right here. Yeah, right here. You get the body, and the body all lining up right around this 5.10, 65, 60-ish area. I grabbed the 51.15 calls at 7.50, and they went from 7.50 to $9 in that little push. Not too much. Got a little bit of a nice play right there. So yeah, I think I took it more or less. Maybe I took it over here, right around the 50. Yeah, 50, 10, the 5, 10, 50, the 5, 10, 60 area. I think is where I took it. So yeah, they went from 7.50 to $9. So $1.50 move. So that gives you that right there. Then I took calls again at 12.19, which is probably right here. It pulled back the 20 EMA and VWAP, got bought back up, came back to higher day. So I figured, okay, it's going to break because it touched it here, rejected it, came back up quickly. Usually when that ends up happening, that usually ends up breaking out. It did break out, just didn't really do too much. I grabbed the 51.15 calls again at 770. And they went from 770 to 960 right there. So not that much of a move. Just like I said, it just did not really go anywhere. So then this is the thing that's been very nerve-wracking for me. And I know many in the room, is that pre-market and after hours, you get these massive moves. And when trading, when the market actually opens for options and stuff like that, nothing happens. It trades in a really tight range. I mean, obviously this was a different day, but normally that's what's been happening. So with that said, trading ideas room on the 12th, I suspect puts into 512, which is right down here at this low, rounded down to a round number. First 10-minute candle was red. I didn't take puts right here. I waited. It didn't want to take calls. I think this was bad news. I think this was inflation. The inflation numbers that came in on core inflation numbers that came in hot, and I just popped. It didn't make sense whatsoever. And inflation's coming in higher than expected, and the market just goes up. I don't know what the hell it was thinking, but it just was not being very sensible whatsoever. So I did take puts eventually at 11.05, which is right here. Not quite sure why I took it here at 5:16 on the 11th. This is the 11th is right. Oh, the 12th. Not quite sure why I took it there. I mean, you get resistance around the 5:16 area. I mean, maybe that's where I think I took it. It was whenever. Actually, come to think of it, I do remember when it got over 5:16, I took it when it got back out into 5:16. And that's what I ended up doing. I took the 51.50 puts at 6:10, and they went from 6:10 to 7:10. Yeah, as soon as it broke 5:16, I took puts and got a little bit of a move. Didn't do too much. Then I took puts again at 12:01, which is not right there, right here. If you set up right here, got a rounded top going, get a nice big red candle right here, retrace with a green inside candle. And once it broke below 5:15.50, I took puts. I took the 51.55 puts this time at 7:10, and they went from 7:10 to 17.60. So I got a 100% move out of that. Then I took puts again at 3:17, which is right 3:17 right here. I'm not quite sure why I took it there. I probably shouldn't have. But anyways, I took it at 3:17, which would be right here. I took the 51.70 puts at 3:40, and it just chopped. So maybe I was thinking it was going to pull back with hot inflation numbers, and it just didn't. But lately, when SPY just is at the high a day at power hour, it usually is either going to go higher or it's going to chop. Just the way it's been, and it just chopped. And I, for some reason, must have thought that it was gonna dump, because was there. No, there was no numbers Wednesday morning, so there would have been really no reason to panic. But I mean, technically, this shouldn't have been up with inflation being up, but it is up. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's up because the market thinks that we're going to get more rate hikes or more rate cuts or something. The market just it's got weird. It just looks at things very, very differently than it should. It's too optimistic, I should say. Rewarded that to that. Regardless of the bad news, it's just too optimistic. So with that said, Wednesday. The 13th, SPY calls over 517.50, which is up here. The only reason I said that because inflation came in hot. The market doesn't care. It tapped it here, and here. So I mean, why not just if it gets over 517.50, all-time high is 15.18.22, as you can see right here. And it could make a new high, make new all-time high, but it didn't do it. So let's see. Yeah, all-time high is right here. Well, that's just 15. Yeah, 518.22 is all-time high and didn't break it. So I thought if it did get over that 517.50, it was going to go to all-time high, but it didn't. First time the candle was red. Second candle was red. I kind of waited. I took puts at 10 o'clock, which is right here. When it broke the 516 area, I grabbed puts, the 51.60 puts at 650. And they went from $6.50 to $8 right there. So didn't get much action whatsoever. So just trading in a small range, just like I said. Big range day. Big range is about from 5.11 to 5.17 plus. So you get like a $6 run. Then it's channeling in a small dollar range, and we have this massive move. But it's just going back to what I said, that the big range, small chop, small range, more range. We got big range, slow grind up, you know, in a small range. You get a rangy day. This is what I'm talking about. It's like it's been doing this for weeks. But something happened here. I don't remember what it was, but the market dumped. Maybe it was because of the numbers the next day. I don't remember. But anyways, took puts right here. And it took puts again at 1053, which is right here. When it broke below, I think I grabbed underneath the wicks. No, I didn't, because I went from 550 to 610, so I probably grabbed them right here underneath the bodies of these candles right here and the wick. The body, and the wick right here. So underneath 516 is probably where I grabbed it. Again, I did 51.60 puts at 550, and then went from 550 to 610, not that much of a move. Then I took puts again, the 51.60 puts again, 1129, which is right here. No, right here. So when I got underneath 516 again, I reloaded. So yeah, I took it here, reloaded here, then I reloaded again here. I got the 51.60 puts again for the third time at 470, and went from 470 to 540. You get me. At this point in time, I know when you look at the chart after the fact, you can see all the moves. But when you're trading in real time, you're anticipating it to be a small range day, because of the previous day was a larger range. That you got to take the 50 cents, because you don't know what it's going to give you. And at this point in time, I mean, it's just not going anywhere. It's just staying and channeling. It's not doing anything. And then it finally happens. So, but even right here, I wouldn't have thought I would have broke lower day, but it just did. And I did take, I didn't touch this. I pretty much had enough. And then when it came back over here, we had this big knife at 15.20, and I didn't want to chase this, so I waited. I waited for it to retrace 50% of the move, and then I eventually grabbed the 51.60 puts at 230, and they went from 230 to 610. So basically, what I did was I got it at 330, so I bought it in this candle. So 50% of the move is right about right here. So I moved up. I got it right around the 15, maybe 515, 70, 75-ish area. Because you can see it opened here. No. It opened here. And it came up. And I think that I grabbed it when it came back down, and it came back up. It did a lot of wiggle room. I'm sure if I went down and went to the 1 minute, that we'd see that. You can see exactly where I got it. Was this the day? 14th, no, the 13th. Let's see. Okay, this is the move. I got it at 330, which is right here in this candle, 331. So I got it up here, right around the 515.80 area, and you can see when I got it here, it dropped, then it came back up. So I did catch it right here. Like I said, the 51.60 puts went from 230 to 610. So right there, if he didn't sell that, and he pretty much took a loss on that. So I got to be quick on these retracements, because sometimes they don't work, but it did work on this particular day. So it did work out pretty good. Then on Thursday, which is the 14th, I did SPY puts on the 516, which is down here. Right where this previous day was having trouble. So I took a loss at open, not at open, but 11 o'clock, because I grabbed calls at 11 o'clock. I think I grabbed it right here. Came back up, rejected VWAP, came back down, and I was looking at puts right here underneath the 514 area, but it didn't break that, so it came back up to VWAP. So I was looking at calls over 515, I think 50, and I ended up getting in a little prematurely, and I took the 51.65 calls at 630, and it just chopped, and then I ended up stopping out. So I ended up taking a loss on that. But then I took puts at 1206, which is right here. Same thing. I'm anticipating that we're going to be in a range, a small range day. It's right now the pops are getting shorted. You know, it's popping, getting hammered on, hammered on. It's rejecting VWAP, so I didn't want to buy puts up here at VWAP in case it took off. So I basically watched it under the bodies of these candles and the wick right here, which is under 514.40. So I grabbed the 51.40 puts at $7, and they went from $7 to $7.70 right here. Not much of a move. And I took puts again at 12.57, which is right here. Right when it broke below the 514 area, which is the bodies of these candles and these candles and this candle. So you get 5 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 body candles right here at the 514 area. It rejected VWAP again for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th time, and it came back down to this 514 area, and it finally broke. That's when I took the puts for 51.40 puts at $6, and they went from $6 to $10.60, so that ended up being a good play. Then I took puts again at 256, which is right here. Actually went above VWAP, but it's still rejecting this 515 area right here. Got above it and quickly rejected it, came back down, tried to come back up, and VWAP shut it down. So I grabbed it right at 256. So I think I grabbed it. I'm not sure if I grabbed it under the bodies of these candles or if I waited for 514. I think I waited for 514. I think I grabbed the 51. Let's say 256. Yeah. So hold on a second. Yeah, I grabbed it right in here. So I grabbed it right at the 514 area. So I grabbed the the 540, the 51.45 puts at $5. They went from 5 to 16, which is 200% on that play right there. So that ended up being a good play on that. Then this had a very, very crazy end of the day move, and was not expecting that. So then we have this grind up day and sell off and a dump on Friday. Was it Friday news? 15th. Let me check the news. What was it, Friday? Friday, yeah, they had Empire State Manufacturing. I'm not quite sure if that was the reason why I dumped or whateve. But anyways, traded newsroom. I said supply puts under 512, which was right. Let me back it up a little bit. Right here at this low from the previous day, which is, you get this low right here, but because when I called it, it was already pretty close to the 512.50, so I used the 512. I always round down or round up to the nearest 50 cents or dollar for pre-market, because you give you a little leeway and a little room for error, and then it just knifed before the market even opened. Then we had this green 10-minute candle, and I didn't take a play until 11:07, which is right here. No, 11:07. Right here. No, where did I take it? 11:07, 11:02. Why did I take it there? I'm not quite sure what happened here. I got the right day. No, I don't get the right day. Wait. I got the wrong. Okay, I have the right day, but I have the wrong thing. Okay. I said, oh, okay, we got to switch over. Because Friday I did SMCI. I had a brain fart for some reason. I just had the wrong day up. Okay, SMCI was the first play of the day. I took it underneath at 9:31. I took it underneath 11. Underneath 11:15, because I saw the pre-market, yeah, in the day before. We back out so you can see a little bigger picture. Yeah, because I was looking at pre-market low and the lower day right here, right around the 11:15 area. If it broke that, it was going to end up collapsing. I wasn't waiting out the first 10 minutes. As soon as it broke, I was taking it, and I took the 1050 puts at 350, and they went from 350 to 610 in that move right there. So that ended up working out well. Then I took SPX 5100 puts at 1145 right here. I mean, not 1145, 945. As soon as you get this green candle right here, first 10-minute candle was green, and I was looking at puts at new lower day, and I grabbed the 5100 puts at 540, and they went from 540 to 910. So I got a good play out of that. So I got 2 plays in like 10 minutes. So I got 2 good plays. Then I went back to SMCI at 1001, which is right here. I was looking for an FU setup, and in fact, when it dropped, it came back up to VWAP, and when it broke below the bodies of these 2 candles, the 1190 area, I took puts. I took the 1050 puts again at 450, thinking we were going to get a massive drop. Then it popped up, and I ended up stopping out. So I got it at 450 and stopped out at 130. So it didn't drop like I thought it would. It is what it is. So then I took calls, SPX calls at 1038, which is right here. Right when it got to higher day, I took the 5140 calls at 720, and they went from 720 to 920 right there. So that ended up being a good play right there. Then I took calls again at 121, which is right here. As you can see, it made double bottom right here. It started to bounce, and then people were probably buying calls right here at the double bottom. And when it broke through the double bottom, made new low a day, to me, it told me that it was making a stop hunt before it reversed. And that's what it did. So I waited until it got over the, I think I waited until it got over the 509.50 area. When it got over the 509.50, I grabbed the 5125 calls at 450, and they went from 450 to 630 in that move. So that ended up being a pretty good play too. So I don't usually go more than 4 or 5 plays per day, and I kind of just call it. I don't want to overtrade any more than what I am. And it was quad witching day, and I know quad witching used to be very, very volatile. You used to get like FOMC style moves where you get a massive pop or a massive drop the last 10-15 minutes of the day, but we haven't had a quad witching mover in a couple years, because every quad witching that happens, which happens 4 times a year, hasn't moved. And every time it comes up, I get excited, like, okay, we're gonna get a big move, and we don't. And I think it's been literally a couple years that we have not had a major move in the quad witching, and has not been happening. So to me, I didn't even stick around for it. I took off early, and I just said call it a day, and whatever, it is what it is. And I get back after the market closes. I'm glad I left early, because nothing happened. Quad witching is just a dud, another quad witching dud. You would think that, that hot hand fallacy would come into play, because it's been almost 2 years, 8 plus quad witching duds in a row, that you'd get one eventually, because you only can have so many losers in a row before something happens. You only can have so many wins in a row before you lose. So that's why it's called a hot hand fallacy. And so 8+ times of quad witching duds just don't happen too often. So I thought, maybe Friday was the day. Maybe next time is the day. I don't know. Maybe we're never going to have one again, but we'll have another one. We'll have another major one. But the problem is that we haven't had one in a long time. And when it does happen, no one's going to be ready for it. No one's going to think that it's going to happen, and everyone's going to miss it. And because the other quad witching, they happened almost every time, and then they just stopped. And it hasn't been that way. It hasn't been like that in a while. I don't know if it was because of the daily expiration days on SPY and SPX, if that did something to it or not. I have no idea. You can speculate all you want, but we just haven't had one in a couple years. So maybe next quad witching, we'll get something. I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath, but anyways, that's the recap for this past week. It wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. Hopefully this next week or this week coming up will be better than this one. We'll get more volatile moves, but we'll see. But that's, like I said, that's it. And thanks for watching.